Hello, welcome back to the channel. This week I have been improving the house that I made the week prior. You might remember I was a little unhappy with how it turned out, so decided to focus on fixing the most glaring issues I had. Mainly that the character could barely fit inside it and the clipping was all out of whack, causing the camera to see through the walls. So to start things off, I reduced the near clipping on my camera to fix the wall issues, which worked great initially. However, when it came time to reduce the size of my character collider, this meant that the character was once again able to get closer to the walls and I could see straight through them. To fix this, I decided to add a separate collider to the front of my character. That way the main collider was small enough to allow me to walk through the house, and the extra one was there to act as a bumper to stop my character getting too close to the walls. Once that was done, I was finally able to add some lights. I got this trendy looking ceiling light free on CG Trader. It actually came with point lights already added to the model, but these were way too bright. I didn't mind this though, as I wanted to add my own lights anyway so I could get a good idea of how they work and play around with the settings. Having added a couple of lights to my hallway, I was really impressed with how the shadows from my character looked and the way they lit up the detail on the model textures. Unfortunately, the light also illuminated yet another issue: flickering, also known as Z-fighting. Z-fighting occurs when objects are overlapped and fight to be rendered closest to the camera. When building my house, I overlapped quite a lot of the elements in order to make them fit, such as the walls and floors, not really realising that it would cause this issue. Having reviewed my build, I figured it would be quicker just to redo the interior completely, so I got to work redoing my interior walls and floors, making sure they align correctly with no overlaps. This didn't take too long, and I actually ended up with a much nicer layout than before, with a nice open plan ground floor and a spacious hallway with several rooms on the first floor. Now that I was back on track, I got to work on making the doors interactive. This was actually really simple, and I found a great tutorial by Speed Tutor on YouTube. They have a ton of great tutorials and asset reviews, and I highly recommend you check them out. The video I watched covered animating the door and included a simple script to open it. However, I haven't done much scripting during this series and I wanted to challenge myself, so I wrote a quick script which enabled me to open and close the door with a button click. I did have a bit of a kerfuffle with this. I couldn't figure out why every time I opened the door my player would exit the trigger, but as is the case most times, at least for me anyways, it was a really simple mistake that I overlooked. The collider for the door was attached to the door, which of course was animated and would move the collider every time I opened it. So once that silly mistake was rectified, I polished up the script by disabling the box collider on the door whilst it was animating so that the player could run through smoothly and not get knocked out when shutting it. I also made sure that the open and close button could only be pressed once the animation had finished playing. Finally, I added the door animations and colliders to all the doors in the house, and voila, we can now enter all the rooms in the house. And that is everything for this week. So, made quite a bit of progress this time round. Once again, I've added any tutorials and assets into the description as well. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.